name's good. Welcome to the Dream Team, Mike and Tom. Back from a little hiatus.
Saw it.
Been working on the new store. I was today as well, a little paint on the old hands. But want to jump into some fantasy chatter?
It's been a long time. Got a lot to update.
So I think we should start from back where we left off. So I think week 5 is the last one, or week 4 is the last one that we last time we aired. So I think it's wise to take a look at the week 5 matchups.
We didn't take the weeks off because we were scared to discuss it. We were getting serious business done.
Busy,
with the store.
a little bit more important. A big distinction there. So let's take a look at the matchups. So
we
week
can
5,
go through the old ones somewhat quickly.
Yeah. Week 5, Dan, Nico. So Nico won by a solid 11 points. Projected to beat him by 11 points or 13 points, so that makes sense.
Moster went down. Shame.
Moster went down.
Dan was crying.
Yeah.
He got the screw job because he didn't want to play Kansas City defense, but the New England game got pushed back or postponed, so he couldn't play them.
Yeah,
they were gonna have a good
defense
matchup,
fucked
too.
him. I mean, not starting Gesicki fucked him too.
Could have made the difference.
I mean, Higbee had 2 bad weeks in a row. I do kind of pin that on Dan. 6 points, 2 points. The running was on the wall to not really
And then
do
he
that
had
great.
0 last week.
Yeah. So
They ended up dropping.
I mean, if he'd started Gesicki, at least he wouldn't have won, but it would have been a little bit closer. Nico's team pretty much fired on all cylinders this week. Russell Gage, bit of a question. I mean, he was actually that was a questionable start.
He likes to play games with his flags.
Yeah, he had much better options on the bench too. That's surprising. But yeah. So this was Amari Cooper, 2 points. So Nico took that one. Let's jump ahead.
I forgot. Jeremy beat Nate.
Jeremy and Nate.
That was a tough one for Nate. With Nate's team, I mean, it performed decent enough.
This was peak Mike Davis, though. 20 points from Mike. I mean, this was his best week. Nate kind of got screwed a little bit here, but what are you going to do? I mean, Jacobs 20, Kelsey 16. I mean, so...
Yeah, Nate's team has the most points scored against now, so that makes sense. He was complaining about that when I was last talking to him.
Inserting Teddy Bridge and getting 20 was a good move.
He's been rocking some good quarterbacks.
Yeah. Edmonds, Crowder.
Although Drew Brees got 2 more points.
So, surprising. Jeremy notched a victory here. Anything else to add? Jump along.
I think he got lucky, as his name implied.
The big game of the week. So, Tyler finally notched his first victory in week 5 against Mike by 1.02 points.
It was a true shame. You could blame it on anyone on my team.
I mean, your team just, Hurst with, what a betrayal this was. I mean, if he just gets one more catch, one more reasonable.
How many times was he targeted?
I mean, he hasn't gotten below
targets.
4 points at all this year, and he got 0.8. 6 targets, 2 catches, 8 yards.
Who would they play against?
You shitting me?
Carolina. That's a tough matchup, I guess.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Jefferson, 23 points, 23 yards against the Seahawks?
I watched the whole game,
sense.
too. He missed on just a few connections. That would have made all the difference in this matchup.
Was a fumble loss? What a betrayal, James. Yeah. He doesn't fumble that. And then look at the 5 out of all these weeks.
It was just the gods saw that this was Tyler's week to win. I mean, Stephon Diggs, I had to go against him Monday night down by 10 or 9. He got him 1 more point than necessary. Look at his targets that game. The fantasy gods willed him to victory.
16? 16 targets? It's absurd.
And the Bills got destroyed by the Titans that game.
16 targets?
It was
for whatever to Devonta Freeman.
His
with
best
this
game of the season.
What fucking ever with that?
Who did he go against? Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gurley. So a little bit.
He is pretty good.
No, he's not. He's old. He's an old man now.
Point wise, this season.
I mean, he's not an old man, but he's got old man.
He gets a lot of touchdowns.
He's touchdown dependent for sure. How many does he have so far this season?
He's got a lot of games with 2.
He's at 7 touchdowns already. Jesus Christ.
They like to punch it in with him in the red zone.
Yeah. Gallup, this is probably his last good game. Yep, 2-0. Yikes, Bill. Yikes.
Well, yeah,
down.
they're on to their third string now.
Lamar Jackson. I mean, very pedestrian point totals so far. I mean, even these ones. I mean, this isn't peak. This isn't last year Lamar. 28.
Take him in the third
28's
round.
low compared to last year's numbers.
I'd be somewhat disappointed last year if I had him and he got 28.
It's so absurd.
But,
I mean, these are low. 14. I mean, they cruise to victory
then,
here.
yeah, they just win all the time. So
I mean,
can't argue with
97
that.
yards, 15 for 28.
They just go everywhere with the ball.
Yucktown.
3 different running backs.
Yeah. I mean,
His
they're
rushing. How's his
5-1,
rushing
so
this year, though?
I can't see it. I
Oh, they
can
don't have it for him.
Let me take a look. Come on.
I mean, it's not like they're rushing it with Mark Ingram or anybody else.
So right now he's got 346 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty good.
He's
That's
on
not
pace
bad.
for a pretty
6
good game.
games through the year. I mean,
He probably had like
a little bit
600
more
by
than
this
a third.
time last
Yeah.
year.
Let me see. And he had 100 just last game alone against Philly. Let's see what he was looking at in 2019. I don't know his stats off the top of my head for 2019. 1,200 through 6 games. Through 6 games,
He was
had
pretty even at that point.
he had more than has this year, but he had he probably has like 50 more yards
Yeah.
last year than he does now. But in touchdowns too are similar. He only had 2 touchdowns at this point last year
I guess-
rushing, and then he went wild. 116, 61, 65, 80, 90, 140, 86, 100. I mean, he's kind of on track to do that this year.
I guess it's his passing. That
But
just
look at his
suffers,
passing.
yeah.
I mean,
4 touchdowns in one game, 5.
oh my God,
5.
this game's absurd. He had 169 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, and another 95 yards rushing. That's
Did he have
gross.
2 rushing touchdowns that same game? Or what's that 2 right there?
This was 61 yards
Okay,
rushing, 2
okay.
touchdowns rushing, 1 touchdown passing.
Against the Rams, did he? The one where he had 5 passing touchdowns?
Against the Rams.
Yeah,
No rushing
Yeah.
touchdowns in this.
they got lucky. But still, 5 passing touchdowns, absurd.
5 pass. Look at this against the fucking Jets. 5. This one was the one that I watched that I was just disgusted in. I was playing you, and he wasn't doing that well passing. And then he got that absurd run, 152 yards rushing on the ground, 1 touchdown. Absolutely absurd. So absurd. But
His point totals are outrageous
Yeah.
last year. Maybe he catches fire later on.
I wish they showed the fan. I know it's only
Each
This is
week
only
you think
stats,
it's
but-
coming, but he still has yet to break 30 this season.
Michael Thomas. I'm a solemn believer that even if he was playing, Tyler wouldn't be doing that great. But this definitely is what's killing him a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
That, running
it's tough
backs.
to just not have your first round pick. But he also took him and Kelsey in the first 2 rounds. I think that's a recipe for a failure. And then Lamar in the third. You have no running backs.
He traded Gurley and Fournette for Kelsey.
Yeah.
Received those 2. Hasn't got to use Fournette at all yet.
No. I think didn't he use him 1 week when he first
Maybe.
got him?
Maybe.
I thought he used him here. No.
Yeah.
He traded for him at. Never mind.
Yeah.
When did he? So he traded for him on the 24th, just after this week, and he hasn't used him at all. Ah!
Classic sell high by Jeremy.
I mean, Cam Akers, looking at his bitch ass just needs to get cut. But
That is a true shame.
yeah,
He had the leader, Daryl Henderson.
he had Daryl
dropped
Henderson.
him.
Dropped him
Traded
before the
Cup
year
for
even
Akers.
began. It's absurd. All right. I mean, that's a tough game to lose on your part because you left AJ on the bench.
There was a lot coming into that, though.
And let's be honest.
There was COVID.
You're never gonna bench
injury.
him, but you probably could have justified starting AJ Brown over Jefferson and Parker, and it would have won you
Yeah.
the game if he did.
No.
But I can't fault you with starting either one of those because he got fucking. What did he get? Like
Yeah,
before this, he had 10,
10 and 23.
20 and 10, and he was going up against one of the worst defenses in the fucking league.
So that's just an anomaly.
And he was
Thielen
banged
went
up.
wild. They just targeted Thielen like crazy
Yeah.
that game.
All right, moving on. Dave and TJ. Rather unremarkable game, but Dave was able to sneak one out by 3 points.
The Matt Ryan 7 points.
Yeah, that's what this game. He was pretty butthurt about the Matt Ryan betrayal. Pretty butthurt about it.
He got sweet revenge the next week.
Yeah.
That being
Mahomes
said, that's
put
a
up
pretty
30, absurd.
straightforward matchup here.
And then Dawson Zeke versus Steph.
Yikes.
Austin smoked her like a fucking ham.
His team has been coming along.
Yeah. Pretty absurd point totals for these 4.
Zeke trending downwards though with the whole
we'll get his team in total is trending downward, but we'll get to that. And this is a big loss. I don't know why he dropped Blankenship. Nico, that greasy bastard, picked him up. His kick totals have been absurd.
I don't
8,
know what
15, 12, 14, 11, 8. And that's pretty solid kick numbers.
He is a beloved kicker on the Yahoo chat boards as well. They all call him Goggles. Dropped Goggles. Wow.
This was just a fucking ass whooping. I mean, my team was all right, but this is just this right here.
39
is
points.
Just outrageous. These 5. Actually, I mean Ingram got 9 points. That's solid. -2, 0, 2 point. I could not believe that he was starting him. He literally doesn't even play.
Yeah.
He doesn't even play.
Who do you have on his bench that week?
I mean, he literally does not even play. It was absurd. I mean, he didn't have anyone, but Malcolm Brown would have been a better option.
Put Malcolm Brown in over him. He would have had 40 points at least.
I mean, his team was obviously, IR, bye, injured,
David Moore from Seattle, the 0 points. Wow.
I mean, he has like random, it's like every other week, 4, 10, 0, 15, 0, 5, so.
Not even nothing, though.
Not even, did he even get targeted? Yeah, 3 targets, so. Wait, was that the same game? Yeah, we fine. Alright, yeah, no, and then Dak obviously snapped his leg in half essentially
That was
in this
absurd.
game. Yeah, my team was.
You did what you needed to do, regardless.
Nothing crazy. Alright, moving to next week. So week 6. So this was a week ago.
Yeah. Week 2 of painting.
So the Civil War. TJ. No, this was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, because then we have week 7.
Okay.
That we just did.
This was, okay.
The Civil War. TJ, outmatched by 18 points in the projections, ended up winning by 30 points. I mean,
Matt Ryan betrayed him with 5 points, and then Aaron Rodgers took it one step further with 5 points with the betrayal.
31 from Matt Ryan.
So the backstabs, they come and they go.
I mean, Derrick Henry was long overdue for one of these absurd Derrick Henry weeks. I mean, 25 is pretty good, but that's still not.
That's why he takes.
That's not
early.
patented Derrick Henry. 38 spot is what you're looking for. 200 yards, classic.
He was, that's great.
I mean, the rest of his
team. You think it would happen more often.
-2, yuck. Mike Evans, 10 yards, yuck.
Teams just sell out to try to stop him sometimes.
Brait, yuck. I don't know why he started both of these two, but Perrine, I guess
he dropped him 1 week early.
Yeah.
I put a waiver in on him and got denied.
Dan's team, Rodgers was a screw job. Receivers are decent. Connor was decent. Mozart.
Gesicki with the 0 points. The week after, we were like, you should have had Gesicki in.
I know, 0 points. It's so absurd.
Higbee, 5
Madison.
on the bench.
Yeah.
He was ravaged with injuries off and on, so he was
But TJ claimed victory there. Moving on. The Professor mounting a comeback. I think he's won like 4 straight or something. 3 straight. Took Jeremy's cheeks. Watson finally putting up some Watson-like numbers.
He's been pretty solid for
DJ
him.
Moore, 90 yards.
Took him.
Did you say that he was cheeks?
He is cheeks.
Or were you saying that A.J. Brown was cheeks?
No, it's DJ Moore's
cheeks. I mean, those are some pretty decent
He's coming
numbers.
together.
I mean, dealing with fucking goddamn Teddy Bridgewater.
When did he take him? I guess we can look
Probably
right
the
now.
5th, 4th. That's a lot.
That's very steep. That's what I was arguing.
I mean, this one is the most egregious, I feel. Amari Cooper in the 3rd was a bit of a stretch, but...
And he reached on both of his receivers, and I still do not change my opinion on it.
Amari Cooper's good. I just think that obviously now he doesn't have a quarterback. But before it was that you had CeeDee Lamb and Gallup in there.
So you can't rely on that though. 8, 10, 8, then 21 finally, and then the 2 right after that.
Yeah.
It's just enraging to deal with somebody like that.
Yeah. Drake finally had a big week, 28 points.
No, what a shame.
James White. Why was he starting James White?
Probably just.
Oh, he had Cookout.
No other option. He got him 7 points too.
Kirk, that was a good start that week. 20 goddamn points on 2
then
catches.
He drops
That's
him after
gross.
that. Very absurd.
Well, he had 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. That is, I would not feel comfortable.
And then he flip flops the next. He has 5 catches for only 37 yards and 8 targets.
I drafted him.
You're the one that lost faith in him first.
Well, 0 points. I think I dropped him. When did I drop him? When did I drop him? I dropped him after the 6th one? That's surprising. I think I'm probably a better option. But, yeah, so he beat the ever-living shit out of Jeremy.
Yeah, all cylinders.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce himself.
He's wildly consistent this year. No, actually, this past week, not so much, but...
That was a game
11,
in snow.
15. I mean, look at the yardage numbers. Pretty consistent. Again, this one. And that was a weird game, the Chiefs. It was a very odd game. Mahomes had, like, what? 100 yards?
Points
like, yeah, like 100 yards passing or 200 yards passing, something like that.
No, that's next week. Yeah.
Oh, that is next week. What am I? Yeah, next week. So this one we're looking at now is 16 points. Taylor, I don't like Taylor, to be honest.
He's pretty consistent.
I mean, he is consistent looking at the numbers, but people...
I feel like he should be doing more.
Everyone was just like, he's a surefire RB1, surefire. And, I mean, the numbers, I guess, kind of back it up a little bit, but I think that he should be doing much better.
Hasn't hit 20 yet.
He's only hit 100 yards once.
I'm sure maybe he'll be getting better.
I hope. I mean, I like the Colts. I hope that they do better. It's just watching when I watch him run, like he's just kind of you can't really find the hole very well. Their line has been subpar this year, surprisingly.
No.
So we'll see this week. They have Detroit. I actually don't know how Detroit's doing defensively. I think they're. I want to say they're a little bit above average.
They used to be the number 1 matchup for running backs.
Yeah.
They might have improved over the last couple of weeks after they shut James Robinson down that week.
Mike Davis coming back to earth, and his time is running out. His time is running out.
They play tomorrow and very well.
Yeah.
CMC could be on the field.
Ty.
He's just washed.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
his time has come.
His targets aren't terrible.
Last year was his last little year of being good, and it was a shame he got hurt as much as
he's been around for a while. I forget how long he's been around. Let me look at it. I want to say he was drafted in like 2012.
Didn't he? Yeah, he played with Peyton Manning for a little bit, I'm sure. 2012,
so he's been in. I mean, he's been in for a while. I remember I had him this year, and he was wet. I remember I was trying to trade him to Nate for like a. I forget what that trade I was trying to whip out, but Nate was relenting. But I kept him, and he was pretty wet.
He had a lot of years with Andy Luck.
Yeah. His numbers are pretty wet, but
trending downward.
So. Anything else on Jeremy? Debo, not a bad game.
He loves him. He hasn't given up on him despite his off and on injuries.
Yeah.
That's another Tyler person I'm pretty sure he dropped.
Is it Debo?
No.
Let's verify that. Classic. Yep. Dropped him like after week 1. I mean, why are you... When did he get injured? Like, why are you drafting him in the 11th round if you know he's banged? I think he was. People knew he was injured going into the draft. You fucking dropping him after.
He ended up needed space once Thomas got ruled out.
Yeah, I guess so. Dropping people that you draft is just absurd.
I do like that you can see the whole evidence of anything everyone there, just like that.
So Tyler versus Nate. So Lamar giving a decent week, 28 points. Diggs, decent week. Gallup, he's crashing. Montgomery, 10 points. I'm sure he'll take that. Gurley falling back to earth. Schultz, nothing without Dak.
He's got the double Dallas starters that are the 3rd and 4th options on the
that's
team.
just bad.
Very questionable.
Bad idea. Schultz would have been good with
Surely
the
we
Dak.
to find a better tight end by now than that, but
I think he's rolling with Jimmy Graham,
Okay, yep.
the Graham cracker.
He did. Confirmed he has a better tight end than Schultz.
Freeman.
Yeah, that's the game I was expecting and probably the more likely.
Yeah. Nate's team's pretty good except the quarterback spot.
He might have solidified it with Brady now.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah. Claypool, I don't know what, I mean, we can look at it next week, but this week, pretty fucking good.
No.
Jones, typical
His team's
Jones
very
week.
balanced, very balanced.
It's lining up where, I don't think he's actually going to play. I think he's still banged up a little bit. Yeah, he hasn't played. Or practiced, I mean.
They were making it seem like he was going to play, too.
Yeah. Edwards Hilaire, he's been doing I mean,
He's
that's just
motivated
an outrageous
now.
game,
Yeah,
yeah.
Le'Veon's there.
Yeah.
He did get a lot of carries, though.
Ronald Jones. That's pretty shitty.
Both of his
totals.
running backs are going to have some serious decreasing going on with Fournette and
I mean,
Le'Veon.
he is very lucky that Edmonds and that Drake might be out for some time. Drake has a high ankle sprain, I think. I don't know what grade it is.
All that guy's been waiting for is a chance to just run the backfield by himself. And
but he had that chance last year.
And
I
he got
added
hurt
him, and he
right
got hurt
before.
immediately. Like,
that was a shame that happened. But
I mean, I suspect that it's going to happen again.
I saw that.
I mean,
the third guy in the Cardinals is trending, so there's a lot of professors out there expecting Edmonds' injury.
I mean, I hope he does. He's good, but I'll never forget that betrayal, burning my number one waiver on him after that absurd.
If he didn't get hurt, that would have been a borderline game or
I
league
know,
winner.
and then he just got injured immediately, and I was
and that's
salty
what forced
ever after
the
that.
Cardinals to go wild with their running back situation. I'm pretty sure that's when they traded for Kenyon Drake. And they had a guy on there that I think was doing somewhat decent. Yeah, they had David Johnson, and then they traded for Kenyon Drake.
Wait, sure?
All those injuries just sent their running back room into a spiral.
I thought David Johnson was injured all year.
I think is that the one he started with the broken arm, and Jeremy took him very early.
Let's see.
This is just getting wild at the inside, but.
Right, so Kenyon Drake chased it, but
So they had David Johnson, and he ended up coming back.
I almost need to see like the starting roster.
Yeah. They definitely had some.
When did they trade for him? Let's see. They traded for him. Blah 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 blah. Wait.
6 games. With
October
the
28th.
So
they
week
traded.
7.
So like literally today, a year ago.
Yeah.
When did Edmonds get hurt? I thought Edmonds got hurt after they traded for Drake. I thought I grabbed Edmonds like late in the season.
Yeah, I guess I'm not exactly sure, but they had a lot of disaster going on in there. Honestly, it was Edmonds' job to run away with that week if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And then
Either way, he betrayed me. I have saltiness towards him, but I do secretly hope that he's wet. He was absurd. So, then Nate has got a blessing ultimately. Gronk is coming into his own as well. 13, 12. Pretty good. That's a lot of targets.
Nate's going to have some decisions with
I mean, I think he's probably got to start Mark, but
that 2.1 right before.
Yeah, that's a recency bias issue. Sees that.
Yeah.
Cast some doubt. Yeah, I don't think anything more to add in this.
Nope. That's it for that week. Oh yeah, the Young Hoku, 20 points. Tom had him and dropped him.
We'll touch. I was gonna bring that up during me and Austin's matchup, but
see, this is
second
bullshit.
straight loss.
Yeah. Fucking Tom Brady, 14 points, sandwiched by 2 very good games. I probably wouldn't have won anyway, even if Tom Brady put up 40 points. Yeah. Oh no, he had 14.
40 points. That's absurd.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. That'll happen once in a while.
Yeah. AJ Brown, very solid.
James. He had a game-saving touchdown, but he did not do well that week.
Ingram, big trust.
Injured.
Yeah.
Maybe coming back.
Hurst, not a bad game from Hurst. Devontae.
That was a true backstab. Well, at least, I mean, I don't think I was going to win this week, even if those guys put up 10 each. But, yeah. Justin Jefferson, what a fucking betrayal.
I calculated, if you had started him over Parker, you would have won by like 0.25 or something like that. I ran the numbers on this.
Yeah, that looks about right.
Yeah, I remember because I looked up mine.
I
too.
reached out to Tom. I was just like, I truly torn between these two guys. And Tom's like, you go with your person that hasn't betrayed you yet.
He hadn't betrayed you up until this point.
No.
I mean, even this week. I think wasn't he banged up at first a little bit?
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of. But I mean, this.
I guess we'll see. Very interesting things to come with him with Tua. But for now, it's Jefferson time after that.
Dave and Steph, pretty unremarkable
TJ called
game.
this, and I was actually very impressed that
he called it.
That was actually a legitimate moment of TJ calling it out and not being a troll. Maybe he was being a troll when he said it, but he said that
it would be an odd thing to be a troll about. He doesn't have clashes with either one of these two folks. He just randomly called it.
He knew that Steph would beat Dave before. I mean, Dave was lined up to destroy her.
Yeah.
With his lineup is crazy.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon out. Philip Lindsay, running back, won that week. Kareem Hunt, running back, won that week. But they both kind of choked.
Yeah. Lord Bailey, 1 point. Buffalo, 3.
Mahomes had a very average quarterback week.
Yeah.
Just a lot of betrayal for Dave that week.
A lot of betrayal. Kareem, quite a betrayal.
No.
Yeah, but TJ did call it. Give him credit where it's due. Wentz, too, going off. Jesus. Cole Beasley. Yeah, there's nothing that Dave could have done to fix this. Just unluckiness. Me versus Austin. What a shame. I really wanted to fucking beat Austin. One of the little notes about this thing is I had... So Will Lutz was on bye. I picked up Young Hoku. Then the news about the Falcons having positive COVID on Thursday came out. I like Graham Gano's situation versus Washington, so I dropped Yunho, picked up Graham, and then
he got you a reasonable.
He got me a reasonable. It was a good pickup, but regardless, I mean, he got more than we got it the same as Blankenship.
Yeah.
But Yunho Koo put up 20 points. If I didn't see that COVID thing, I would have kept him. Yeah. And I would have beat Austin.
I'm just looking. I mean, Josh Allen, that's kind of a fuck job in a game that you'd probably think would have like almost 70 total points.
Yeah, I mean, the other people, I mean, he got,
against the Chiefs.
Jonnu Smith was out, I think, in like the mid-second. I mean, that sucks. Godwin, why did Godwin only get 4 points? I think that was just...
He might have gotten banged up.
I'm trying to think, remember that game. Yeah, it wasn't really,
yeah, he was just a little rusty, I remember.
I mean,
Brady was yelling at him.
Yeah. Henderson. I mean, I'm scraping by in these games, to be honest. I'm Lockett was on bye, Eckler's out, Lutz was out, McCaffrey's out. So it's just unfortunate that if I would have absolutely kept, if I knew that everything was fine, I would have kept Koo and I would have ended up winning, which would have been pretty. I mean, look at these projection numbers. That would have been quite the upset.
Yeah, the 111 projected is pretty crazy.
And I got fortunate. I mean,
who do you have on? Oh yeah,
the Cowboys are spinning out of control, and Zeke does not look good. Yeah. I mean, it largely can be attributed to their line, and also to be honest, it's about time that we get to see Zeke Elliott behind not an absolutely absurd offensive line. I mean, the quarterback situation doesn't help. I think that contributes a little bit, but
it's the double
their
whammy.
Line is like below average now. Yeah. I mean, they don't have Tyron Smith. They don't have who's the guard? It's not Zach Martin, is it?
One of them, Zach.
One of them left, and then the other one's injured.
Yeah.
Frederick left, I think.
Yeah.
Frederick left. Zach Martin's injured, and then they have 2 more tackles that are injured. Like their starting right tackle, and then one of their backups is out. It's just an absolute disaster. And then they're not helping out Dalton.
They have people knocking out Andy Dalton.
And none of them give a shit.
There was one
outrageous.
guy that was like touching him, like, wake up, man, please.
But like they're just walking by that. Who was that guy that did it? I know his name. I can't think of it. But they were just like walking by, and this dude just absolutely murdered. You came flying into the room after seeing it, just appalled at the sight of it. It was so absurd and just... face down into the
It's a haunting sight to see the fiery red hair of Dalton distinguished.
It was so ridiculous of a hit, and just no one was there to back him up. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but Zeke is not in a great spot. So
everyone said he's the league's best running back a bunch of times, I think. I mean, is he getting old? But he's had a lot of carries through the years, and now I guess we'll see.
I don't want to jump the.
Washington is actually a tough match.
Oh shit, he's on his.
Oh,
what? 25.
All right. So he has no excuse.
Yeah.
He should be tearing it up.
I don't think that he's not going to do well because the line isn't good. I'm not going to go that far, but I'm saying it's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out when he's not playing behind an absolutely absurd offensive line.
As it has been his whole career.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, it's slowly declined as he's been there, but it's always been like a top 10 unit at the very least, so that'll be interesting. Kittle went off. Gibson didn't do much. Kupp didn't do anything. Thielen kind of really had a shitty game, except he salvaged it with a touchdown. Murray did decent. Gaskin. I should have.
You should have told me to have him too.
I should have had Gaskin.
He would have been a nice addition for sure.
Just very, very poor roster.
They were playing games with their running backs though. With what's his name, Breida and Howard. Yeah.
They use Breida a little bit. Howard, I don't think they use at all.
Yeah, Howard just been a healthy scratch the last couple.
This guy's been a bit of a steal.
Yeah,
these are 4 solid weeks. I mean, even this one.
That's actually not a bad wide receiver.
Look at these targets.
Although they have no one else to throw to.
They literally don't have it. So when Goddard comes back, Deshaun Jackson broke his fucking ankle. So
Alshon Jeffrey comes back.
Alshon Jeffrey comes back. Goddard comes back. I think Ertz should be coming back at some point. So
we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But
Brandon Cooks,
not bad.
I'm sorry, he's a fraud.
He's
a fraud. I would not. I mean, he's done decent, but if he was on my team, I would have no confidence starting this motherfucker.
No.
I would have no confidence. So, and Preston Williams, he's not bad. Just have a stash.
He's a nice stash. Yeah. Very annoying. He takes all the touchdowns from Parker so far. I think that'll even out though.
All right, moving on. Week 7. So last week. So we're up to date. So Dan beat the wheels off Steph.
He was on quite the skid up until this point,
yeah.
So that would give him some confidence.
It was a good league adjuster.
Yeah.
Brought him and Steph back on even playing field. Just kind of an even spread of points. Higbee sucks. Actually, I think he was just injured.
Yeah. They just held. Yeah. He played on Monday, and then they ruled him a scratch last second.
Kansas City. I was shitting on Kansas City pretty hard earlier in the season.
They're pretty good defense. Yeah.
They're not bad, and they are. I'm going to say right now, projection of the week. I'm going to be honest. I'm pretty dead set with the defenses this year in terms of streaming. I think they put up 20 on the Jets. Their defense. Not 20, like 20 points in fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm saying 20.
I mean, that's not a crazy stretch.
You think so?
The Jets stink.
To project 20 points from a defense?
All right, so 20 even, you say.
20 or more. 20 or more. I'm saying 20. A 20 burger.
That is a lot. This comes into, it's a weird thing with defenses and teams. Like, when a team is just way better than another team offensively, their defense, I mean, it causes the other offense to play crazy. So that's getting them in these situations, I think, a little bit.
Because TJ had them at one point, right? Yeah, TJ drafted them, and he dropped them.
I've never thought they were a good defense, but
he dropped them after here, and I think I was giving him shit for it. I was like, they're just not a good defense, TJ. They're not a good defense. I was breaking it down wicked hard. But
I have Chandler Jones and the Honey Badger.
No, Chandler Jones is on the Cardinals. They've got the Honey Badger. I don't know who they have in their defensive front, but I think their defense puts them in advantageous situations. No. I think so.
They're not bad.
Yeah, so
a good
20 burger. We'll see. We'll come back to it next week.
The Jets did play the Bills very tough the week before.
I mean the divisional matchups, especially with the both Easts, NFC and AFC.
Some of these nothing to lose games.
Yeah. I mean, Steph's team, nothing really remarkable here.
It seems like she would have more points based on some of them, but
I mean,
there's
right
no
here
explosions at all.
A hole of shit right here.
The quarterback did her dirty.
Yeah. Then our bench really didn't help. I mean,
was that 2 weeks in a row? Wentz destroyed.
Wentz is not doing bad this year. He's pretty decent.
We were pretty harsh on Wentz.
I mean, his INT.
I mean, the whole world was harsh on Wentz.
I mean, he's got 10 interceptions through 7 games. That's rough.
I'd say everybody thought it was almost time to get benching Wentz. How many wins do they have, too?
He's got 10 interceptions and 10 touchdowns. Yikes. Yikes
Could
down.
be the Jameis of this year.
I think he's got a few rushing touchdowns, which is helping him prop up some of these numbers.
Yeah.
He's like this.
Look at the attempts, though. 42, 43,
Yeah,
47,
he's throwing a lot.
40, 43. God damn.
Yeah.
So perhaps Steph saw something that I missed.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about taking him, but I was gonna take him. I was gonna take him if I was in like a desperate situation.
That whole division's just garbage.
Yeah. Moving on. TJ versus Jeremy.
He was sad about this one.
He was sad. He was very upset about losing to Luck. Very upset.
Justin Hebert's a fine football player.
He's a fine football player. Jeremy's team didn't even really do that great.
No,
I mean, Hebert put up like 40 of his points.
I will give him the balls of the week start of Deontay Johnson, though. Look at his last weeks coming up to this one.
Yikes. Yikes.
0.9 negative, and then 0, and then he throws.
What do you have on the bench?
Yeah,
he had some options, too.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy.
All right. That is a pretty good start. I mean, his running backs are fucking not doing anything right now. Darius Slayton? He's starting Slayton?
He's started him almost every week. Slayton's a good flex. He's a boomer bust.
It's Sterling Shepard show there now.
Yeah. With what's his name out? Once Mike Davis exits his lineup, it's gonna be
it's gonna be yikes.
He's gonna be struggling to fill that other spot.
TJ, there's nothing he could have really done here. Robert Woods, quite a betrayal.
Robbie
Anderson's been pretty consistent. He's got one touchdown.
I would love to start him if I stole him.
One touchdown this year he has.
Yeah.
And look at his numbers. This is all yardage.
That's a guy I would have been so proud to have gotten for nothing.
I mean, he drafted him in the last round. I mean, this is, if you add in like 4 touchdowns throughout here, he's like a top 20 guy. Like, I mean, these are absurd numbers. 74, 77, 112, 100, 55, 100, 114.
Yeah, he's having a good year.
Yeah.
He's always been moist.
Yeah.
The Jets just didn't understand his moisture.
He was not bad on the Jets, but his quarterback play was terrible.
Yeah.
So. Evans, 37 points, and this came on like 2
Yeah,
years.
they're so down on him. They're trending down on
him. He's double teamed all the time. Like, and everyone's like, "Oh, start of the week with Godwin out." I mean, it's like it's gonna be even worse now.
No,
like they're just gonna double team him the whole game with Godwin not in there.
I guess he does disappear in like games where he had the 4 targets, 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Very lucky.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that eventually he's going to have a 1 and 3 point stinker. But
yeah. I'm interested to see how he does it. I mean, hopefully, I like to see TJ do well, so hopefully that. But it's just like, I guess I don't understand. It's like people are saying he's going to do better because AB is going to be there and there's going to be no double teams. And then when Godwin goes out, people are saying he's going to do better. But so it's confusing, but we'll see what happens. Boyd, my boy.
Not bad.
I love Boyd.
Not bad.
Pretty solid numbers. Nothing crazy. I mean, he's not a wide receiver 1. He's just a classic wide receiver 2. Kisnick, his bench is kind of suspect.
Kind of cheap.
Yeah. Moving on. Nico versus Tyler.
His smack talk was pretty funny. Though.
Nico?
You ever just feel like you can't ever win?
Tyler's 6 weeks. I mean, there's your boy, DJ Moore.
His best game of the year. Not bad. Against New Orleans. I guess, I don't know. Are they a tough net?
Their defense is pretty good.
Who's that cornerback they have there? I can't think of his name. But
yeah, me neither. I'm bad with defensive players. But I think
he was shutting people down like crazy.
Amari, 80 yards.
It's not bad considering the quarterback situation.
Drake's very suspect game. I mean, one, he got injured.
Trending down.
He has a high ankle sprain, which depends on the grade of it.
He may not even have a job when he returned from that injury. He got carted off. It was quite absurd.
Yeah, I mean, CMC had a high ankle sprain. He was out for fucking 6 weeks.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean,
if Edmonds is anywhere near equal to him or better, he's keeping the job probably.
I don't really know where he goes from here. Because Boston Scott, I mean, had a good game, but
he's gonna get one more week out of him, luckily.
But where he goes from there, I don't. His running back situation is concerning.
Well, Dalvin Cook.
Well, yeah, obviously Dalvin Cook is gonna slot in there when he comes back. But beyond that, I don't.
Maybe he's hoping Tevin Coleman returns.
Guess Gus Edwards might have some promise.
If Mark Ingram sits.
I mean, he's got to flip one of these guys. He's got to flip one of these three. I would think. Maybe he could flip Drake and want to package Drake and Higgins for someone. I don't know.
No one wants Drake.
No one wants Drake. That's
Anyone with a brain won't want Drake now.
I don't. This spot's going to be a bit of a question mark.
If they do trade for him, it's going to be cheap.
That's. I mean, maybe you got to add a little sugar on top, a little Higgins action or something. I don't know. Higgins is doing well this year. I mean, these are pretty good numbers.
Burrow's spreading it out.
Yeah.
Even AJ. He has AJ Green on his team as well now.
Did he add him?
Not after. He added him after this week, I guess. But.
All right, moving on.
Oh yeah.
Challenge day.
But yeah, I was freaking sweating this one out all day. We were scoring touchdowns.
Because what did it end up in?
Forth.
What was the Monday game? What was the total for the Monday game?
I think I only had.
You had 120.
Yeah.
One in the Monday game. What did he have?
He had 100 and no, I think he had 99 or 99. No, he must have had 102.
Oh, Robinson. So
yeah,
102.
102.
So 102. Yeah. So you're up 18 with Allen Robinson. That was pretty.
That was in check.
I mean,
but
70
throughout
yards.
the day,
You add in a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's 13. It still would be pretty tough.
But yeah, throughout the day, it was the projections were dead even as they were going back and forth.
Dallas defense was a risky move.
Yeah, it was a spite move against Nate a little bit, but I thought with their. So what happened, what I thought wouldn't happen, ended up happening. I thought Dallas would beat Washington, prove they're not the worst team in the NFL, but in fact, they got shit on by Washington, and now...
I mean, I started them... When did I grab them?
Did you get them the week 9?
I grabbed them 30th.
The one that had 9 points?
So I grabbed them... Where did I grab? So I added them on the 30th. So I added them a week early. So I played them here. And they got me 9 points.
Good.
I grabbed them before this week. I was like, I'm not playing against Cleveland, but I want to add them for the Giants, and I had 9. But still, they had 34 points put on. So I was in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
I just got fortunate with a return touchdown, a fumble, and 2 sacks. You had the 2 sacks, no fumble, no TD.
It added some interest to the match with Nate being a Cowboys fan. He was going to have to love when they were getting scored on. This was bullshit. I was so pissed. And that was the only game on TV was the Niners and the Patriots. And
they were feeding Wilson and Hasty.
Going wild. And then Hasty got a little tackled hard on one play. They put McKinnon in for a play, went to commercial. Hasty right back in the game.
And then Wilson was going wild.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt. I think it's a pretty serious injury. I don't know exactly what
He's
it was.
on IR.
Yeah.
I think
it wasn't good.
High ankle sprain.
James. Very wet.
Yeah.
Very wet.
Back against the wall. James comes through.
Pretty absurd. I mean,
the Chargers aren't bad either, so that's definitely quite the spikeage in points. A touchdown, rushing, receiving, and a 2-point conversion.
ADK Dragon, thanks for the follow. I mean, I was down on him a little bit, I think because of these weeks, but just looking at the numbers, it's not really... Or I guess these 3 were kind of low.
Yeah.
But still pretty solid.
It was in a rough patch, too.
If you... I'm going to be... Not to sound like a hater. And say you missed the boat on James. You'd be in a little bit of a delicate position right now. You might... I mean, you would have been... I mean, now that there's a lot of probable things that could happen.
I mean,
you could have not gotten him, but got someone else.
Yeah.
Or, But...
I mean, I could have had Mike Davis, too, and McKinnon. A pretty big mistake in the long run.
Yeah.
That was a wild week of running backs. There was way too much decisions to make.
Claypool, negative points.
I guess he matched up with McKinnon at least.
Yeah. Yikes.
McKinnon went less negative than Chase.
So Chase, 14 points. He was looking smooth as fuck on his runs and his catches. But at the end of the game, when they were feeding him, he was ripping off like 10-yard runs every time. I mean, it was. I mean, again, Seattle defense isn't that great. So moving on. Anything more to add?
No backstab.
Yeah.
But other than that, 2 points after the 20 point.
That is true. That is true.
Came crashing back down.
AJ Dillon, Chubb, yeah.
Oh, the Aaron Jones injury, that was a big part of why he lost.
That was. Because Jamal, I think, had a pretty good game.
Ultimately would have benched Allen Robinson. So I still would have had quite the buffer.
How much did Jamal have? Jamal had 17.
Yeah.
Yikes.
He would have probably scored 10 more points then.
Yeah.
I would have extremely close.
And I would have think he'd have at least 17.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. So.
Extremely close.
But at the same time, he would have taken out Allen, so it would have been a 10-yard plus. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
They're right on the button there. And one could argue Aaron Jones would have had more than Jamal.
That's true. So, me and Dave, very interesting matchup.
No kicker.
Because
Go
pretty
right
much
into it.
largely through Sunday, I thought that I was going to get my cheeks busted.
Yeah.
It was not looking good. Let's
and
put
then
it
the
that
good
way.
old Sunday night.
So,
Freaking love from the fantasy gods.
but
was
before
locked
that,
in.
Mahomes played at 4.
Yeah.
So I think like Kareem did this, Kamara did that, Scary Terry did well.
Yeah.
Lindsey and Mahomes went off, and they were Lindsey was going wild,
No.
and obviously Mahomes can go wild at any point. Mahomes ended up not going
For
wild.
43 points in that. That was the snow game, so they
Yeah.
were running it like
And Lindsey
crazy.
got injured, so I kind of made off on that. Ebron didn't do much. Buffalo kind of went wild. So one of the interesting footnotes is this little nugget right here. And so according to inside sources, Dave likes Lord Bailey so much that he didn't want to drop him.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. And his people on the bench.
They all get
They're
action.
all. They're not. Running back. You gotta be
Can
careful.
you drop
with.
any of them?
I don't think you can drop any of them. If you're gonna drop any of these people on the bench, it's gonna be these 5 right here, and they all did pretty well.
No.
You can't drop him. He's a handcuff to your Kamara. Frank Gore, he loves Frank Gore.
He's starting technically.
And he's getting 60 yards. It's still. He had a touchdown in that. That's a decent week. Marvin Jones, 80 yards. Cole Beasley, 112. Ertz, you can't drop.
No.
And Edelman's probably his backup receiver.
So.
I guess you could make an argument that you drop Dan Bailey and pick someone else up, but he likes Lord Bailey.
He's just a pretty average kicker.
And I looked at every kicker that would be reasonable to replace Bailey with. Bragley.
Would he have won with any of them?
Cairo Santos, the Rams kicker, he wouldn't have won with any of them. So.
What about the Seahawks kicker? He was out there, and they played Sunday night.
Was he out there?
What's his name? I can't think of it. No one ever picks him now. Is it the Hollister guy? No. Look it up real quick. Kicker. No. Once I see his name, I'd be pissed because I'd always look at it.
He doesn't kick at all. That's the issue. He kicked one field goal before this.
Is he not even on this top front page? Or
no, because he's kicked only one going
Jason
into this
Myers,
week.
that's the guy.
Where did you see
right
him?
on the top, or 4 or 5 down. How much did he score?
12. But look at through this week. He had He had 2 field goals he kicked. Right here.
Yeah.
And right here, he took 2 field goals
this
year.
That's a tough pickup. But in a
12.
game against Arizona, you would think you would.
So how much did I beat Dave by? Whoops.
Would it have been enough?
Would it have been enough? It would not have been.
It would have been right on the one
would have been,
short.
Would have been.
So your team did enough, whether or not he played a kicker. So it's as he said. But I wouldn't have thought that going into the matchup that it would be like that.
And I think the only thing to talk about on my team, because my team really didn't do that great, any of them.
It's a Lockett saved you. Yeah.
Lockett. 200 yards receiving,
but he does
3
do that,
touchdowns.
as we were arguing with Dan.
I want to pull this up because I shit on Dan for talking about it, and I think I should at least back up what I was talking about.
He's always had these wild games from time to time. And it makes sense because Patrick Peterson was mostly covering Metcalf.
We'll talk about that a little
So
bit.
they're avoiding him.
Let's look at last year. I talked to Dan about this, and he was like kind of like going in one ear and out the other. Here were his numbers last week: 44, 1 touchdown, 79 yards, 154, 1 touchdown, 5 points, 5 points, 7 points, or 5 points, 11 points, 7, 6, 10,
152.
27.
Yeah.
2 points, 3.0, 44 points, 18. You seeing a trend?
No.
That's just what he does. It's like
And
low,
this
low,
year-
absurd,
Yeah.
low, absurd, low. So I'm suspecting that next week is going to be low. And
With
it's
the
following
level
the same
of
trend.
throwing that Russell's doing now, it's going to make
could be
sense that
different.
happens more
Yeah.
often.
So he was
He's having a better year
20
this year.
targets. 20
Thought
targets.
Stefan's 16 were absurd.
20. They were feeding him.
No.
They were feeding
He
him.
was a nice matchup. And he burned Patrick Peterson a few times.
Burnt him like toast.
Yeah.
Burnt
his
him like
marshmallow
toast.
for his s'mores. And then he smushed them up. Chocolate melted marshmallow coming out of the side.
I think so. I missed on Fuller. I was debating between
That was
Henderson
your
and
biggest
Fuller.
decision. Ultimately,
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
And really, he didn't get that touchdown until late as
It was a
fuck.
difference of 4 points.
I mean, he was getting shut the fuck down.
No.
You see this? He could be one of the Packers.
Well,
Could be
that's
on
kind
his
of a
way out.
sloppy situation, but that would make Aaron Rodgers quit bitching.
I mean, I don't think I would mind it, to be honest. As long as he can stay healthy. When he was playing with DeAndre Hopkins last year, he was whipping out 40-point weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. So, this is a good segue into our next topic, but we can look at this one. So, Kyler Murray, 40 points.
He is looking. Let me see his whole spread of points. I've been meaning to look at him lately.
Kyler?
This is one of the ones that if he beats Russell any certain week, it burns me because I could have had him. But overall,
I mean, his rushing numbers are absurd.
yeah.
I mean,
this
his
game he just
passing,
went wild.
yards are pretty good.
Yeah,
Touchdowns are pretty good. 7 is a little high.
he
But
went wild that game. 48 attempts passing, so that's why. That's pretty high for him. 40, 38, I guess it's... He throws a lot some games. But
I mean, that's pretty solid fantasy.
he's
output.
pretty fair with Russell, I guess. Tough to say still who's the better choice.
I would. I'm biased towards Russell, but
Yeah. The vet.
Cooks, Elliott. I mean, they're unremarkable. The rest of his
Yeah,
team.
that's sad.
Gibson,
to see
mentioned
on this
Gibson.
season.
That was a ballsy move.
It wouldn't have changed.
wouldn't
I
have
guess
changed
who would he
anything.
have put him in over?
I would imagine he
Fulgham or
would have taken
Bell,
him out of
you know?
Bell
15 more points. That
because he
puts
had
him-
Gibson in there. I mean, it puts,
that puts
it damn
him almost
close.
tying.
Puts
to
him damn close. I mean,
yeah.
he's 16.2 behind. It's a
Okay.
difference of 15, a little bit less than 15, so he still would have lost. But
Yeah.
I thought that was a ballsy move when I saw it.
It wasn't
and
a
then-
killing move
Yeah.
because of it. He's lucky.
Rizzo, Odell Beckham out for the year, torn ACL. That's definitely a good thing he still has Devontae Adams, and I don't. If I had Devontae Adams, my team would be out of line.
That would have been what? 60. How many did Tyler like? 38 points, so
It would've
69
been
points
between
amongst
my
two
receivers.
players. Some people don't even put up 69 points in a week.
Yeah, so I think the league should breathe a sigh of relief that I did not get in.
So was it absurd that they vetoed that trade, or is it fair?
I think it's reasonable. I thought it was going to, but the rationale that people provided, I did not think was adequate. So you got two guys vetoing it who don't even know how many games he played last year. Austin's like, yeah, he just played the whole season. Wildly not true. He missed 25% of the season.
I do.
Like,
He
I
does
mean,
have a
that's just
stigma of
like-
getting banged up.
I mean, he's not been wild. I mean, it's never like he's like missed a whole season, but he's missed like
There's a chance.
15 to
he misses a
20% of
couple
his
games every
in
season.
COVID. He never. I mean, my team's already injured. I can't.
No.
You know. So and that was another thing. Tyler was acting like I was asking for sympathy by saying
Yeah.
that my team is banged up and I'm not going to have any running backs. That's just the truth. I wasn't asking for sympathy. My team, I wouldn't have much depth.
No.
That's yet something you have to consider in the trade. My running backs would be a disaster. But moving on. Again, I expected it to get vetoed. So
no.
again, just the
I'm
people's
so tired of
explanation of
Rizzo's
it
team.
was kind of bullshit, though.
So his team is cheeks, and he still gets a 100 burger from freaking Adams.
He's at
there.
the 4th lowest points in the league.
Yeah.
And he's in 2nd place, so pretty absurd.
I want to see him lose.
Malcolm Brown.
Hasty
11.
though. Jermichael Hasty though. Now that Wilson's hurt. Hopefully we see more carries
like
for the Jet.
Mostert is going to be out for a little bit. The Jet. Let's see.
If he stops banging Shanahan's wife.
Decent points on the bench.
He could figure it out. He's still got some decent parts to his team that he can build around.
Yeah, I think so.
Losing Dak and Odell is tough, but he's still
DeAndre
got,
Swift is coming into his own, 3 solid weeks.
He's still got Julio, Adams, Gordon, Swift. Yeah.
Can we get into this little nugget right here?
That's a real shame. He had a touchdown taken back in overtime, and he got play of the game.
So he was essentially shut down by Patrick Peterson, who's a relatively old cornerback. Okay, Tyler Lockett burnt him like toast, like on the 2 plays that he covered. So I mean, my thing with him is that he's just kind of in his head a little bit.
Yeah.
Peterson, when they played the Cardinals last year, I think Peterson did the exact same thing to Metcalf, shut him the fuck down. There's no reason for Peterson to be shutting Metcalf down like that. So I think it's just some sort of mental thing.
He did score outrageous touchdown in overtime that got taken back from.
Yeah, but that was holding.
It was holding.
Wicked absurd holding. Now, would they have been able to pull Lockett down or pull Metcalf down? That guy Metcalf might have blown right through him.
It's debatable.
Maybe.
We'll never know.
But the reason I bring that up is because on the No Look podcast they were discussing this. Did you hear about this? So I did not discover it myself. A colleague let me know about this little comment that was made, and I found it quite absurd. So
do you have it?
Share it. I'm gonna pull it up.
Darrelle Revis, I thought they were the same kind of player, but
Nah, I don't know. Peterson's a little bit more consistent.
I mean, he reminds me of Darrelle Revis. I thought they were the same kind of player, but
Nah, I don't know. Peterson's a little bit more consistent.
I mean, he reminds me of Darrelle Revis. I thought they were the same kind of player, but
The comparison or the one saying it's more.
I don't know.
Consistent.
Definitely Austin is. I don't even know what that means.
What year is he comparing him to?
I don't know.
Like very old man Darrelle
I
Revis?
don't get the comparison between the two really at all. What Tyler was saying, but okay.
They're lockdown
saying that
corners,
Revis
that's
is
up
more
to them.
consistent than Patrick Peterson, or Patrick Peterson is more consistent than Revis. What does that even mean, more consistent?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that come into question. I mean, if he's talking about Revis's prime stretch, which I would assume since he's retired now, then there's no shot.
So I did a little breakdown of what I think that he could be referring to. We can look at it. Let me pull it up here. So let's take a look. So these are the Pro Football Focus rankings for the first 10 years of each of their careers. So Peterson's in his 10th year. There's Revis's first 10 years. Revis did play one more additional year.
No.
I wanted to keep it to 10 to compare it, and Revis only played 2 games in that last year with the Chiefs. Remember when they signed him?
Oh yeah.
It was like 2 games at the end of the year. His ranking that year was in the 60s, so definitely a little low. But I wanted to keep it comparison-wise. So I'm just gonna let everyone soak this in. Let's keep in mind that according to Austin, Patrick Peterson is more consistent than Revis. Whatever that means is more consistent.
I mean, he has more Pro Bowls. He has one more Pro Bowl than Revis.
One more Pro Bowl? That's what you're focusing on in this?
I'm just trying to look for the positives.
Look at that 07 to 2012 stretch. That is absolutely absurd.
That is. I mean, he doesn't even come close on any of
And
his years.
it's not even just those years. Every single year is better than Patrick Peterson, except 2015, where Peterson is 0.1 better, at a 0.1 better ranking. So it's not like he just had one absurd year in like 2012 or 2009. Literally every single year is better than Patrick Peterson.
I mean, Revis is one of the best.
But how do you make that statement?
Maybe Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to understand. All right, so maybe he's saying that these overall rankings factor in like stuff beyond being tackling, sacks, something. It's overall, so it's everything. Maybe he's saying
I guess
Patrick
we have
Peterson.
to find out what he means by consistent. Does he mean a more complete game? I don't know.
Maybe he's saying he's better at just strictly a coverage cornerback. Maybe is that possible?
If that's so, then definitely no.
Let's take a look at those numbers then. So this is coverage rankings.
Did it change?
Just coverage. It changed. Here are the numbers again. Just coverage. Does this appear to be more consistently better than Rivas?
Yeah, it's 1 year better. That's like by 0.6.
1 year better.
Yeah.
Where are you seeing that?
2018 to 2014.
It's 0.6. Yeah, that's where. So that's where he's better. So
2010, 2014.
I don't know what he. So
no, 62 point.
All right, is maybe Austin saying the opposite? Maybe he's saying that Patrick Peterson is a better, tackler, gets better sacks. Is that what he's saying on a consistent basis? Maybe has more solo tackles. Let's take a look at those numbers. Not seeing better consistency from Patrick Peterson in these ones either. It's not even close. There's a 10-point swing, just like the other. So 10-point swing in the average, 10-point swing, 12-point swing in the average in overalls. In run defense, 10 points better. And I think every year, every year, these are better.
No. So, pretty outrageously wrong so far. Did you go through all the slides, Ernie?
No. So this is running. So maybe, all right, maybe Austin's saying, okay, Tom. What I was talking about was consistently his big plays are better. He gets better. He gets more interceptions. All right. That's what I'm focusing on. These numbers, I don't really know what you're talking about. There's too many digits, too many decimal points. I don't know. Just gets more interceptions. Not true. Not true at all. Here's the interception numbers for each one of them. Is there more consistency? I mean, I guess it's more consistently low, like spread out. Rivas had 6
they're
and
pretty
29.
close there,
But they're really pretty close.
But Rivas is better by 2.
Maybe he's saying, Tom, I wasn't talking about their grades. I wasn't talking about their numbers. Rivas is just a better cornerback, but Patrick Peterson has consistently played more games. Maybe? Let's take a look at that. So that could be an argument. So he has played more games. Now, Rivas did tear his ACL in 2012. Now, so this does also count 2020. So let's say that Patrick Peterson plays 9 more games. All right, and then he finishes with 154 versus 140. If you add in the 14 games that he missed for tearing his ACL, it's exactly equal. They played the same amount of games if you consider this to just be a blind, unlucky injury. So I don't know what the fuck he is talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
I guess I'm
It's
glad
probably one of the most absurd football takes I've heard in quite some time. To just casually make like that.
I guess, yeah, he did whip it out without thinking much before.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And let's keep in mind, this is the guy who's vetoing trades because he's got some superior football knowledge.
I didn't know he said that. I guess we set this right now.
I actually forgot about this one. Maybe he's saying he's more consistent in the playoffs. Not true. Not true at all. So these are the playoff numbers for each one of them.
It's hard to compare any cornerback to Darrelle Revis, which I guess is the point of this whole exercise.
He's like this. He's probably, I don't know. I'm not really good with the guys in like the 60s and 70s, but like since the 90s,
he's the best we've seen in some time.
There's obviously Showtime, or Deion Sanders. There's Champ Bailey. There's Revis.
Is this their actual?
So this is his absurd 29. I threw this in. This is his 2009 season.
The one where he was shutting down people.
So you got Andre Johnson, who was the number 1 receiver that year, 35 yards. Randy Moss, he played twice, second best receiver that year, 24 yards in an interception, 34 yards in a TD. Then you got Reggie Wayne the 6th, Roddy White the 7th. Shut the fuck down. You've got Marquise Colston was the 13th.
That was a pretty outrageous stretch.
Ocho Cinco, 0. And then they played again the following week in the playoffs. I didn't include that, but I think he held him like 10 yards that week. In a combined, I think it was like...
on this little thing,
Ted Ginn is the wettest out of the. Ted Ginn had 57 yards and a touchdown.
Lewis Murphy.
Lewis Murphy, 58
yardage.
yards.
You didn't have the touchdown though. Right.
It's odd the people that did well. Mike Sims Walker, you remember that
they
fucker?
were sleeping on.
Yeah, 49 yards and a touchdown. Steve Smith, 5 yards.
He was
5 yards.
very good at this.
The 19th, yeah. I mean, he was declining a little bit. T.O., the 26th, when he was on the Bills, 13 yards and 31 yards.
No.
These guys were all shut the fuck down. Really, the only thing that ever beat Revis was the speed, the Ted Ginn speed.
No.
He could never really handle the speed factor of some people.
This the year that... No, it must have been the year before or after when Randy Moss burned him so bad.
That was the year after 2010. That was it. I still remember that player. I can picture the play in my head.
Yeah, just
because the shit talk was outrageous after that. It was outrageous. But yeah, so that's all. I think that was an absolutely absurd claim to just casually make. I was appalled when I saw it. Again, I didn't even see it live. A colleague sent it to me and was absolutely appalled by it. And,
well, I'm glad we were able to set this.
There was and I watched a little bit more of that stream. They were saying that Kyler Murray's going to have a better career than Russell Wilson. I was just like, oh, that Russell Wilson didn't contribute at all to their Super Bowl run. I was just like, oh, that was the Peterson for Revis claim was the most egregious one, but there was other ones that I was just
maybe
like,
they
I'm
were
not
just
even
making wild claims.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. So, but. Want to get to a little Warzone?
Get a game or two in, get a couple.
Alright folks, I'm going to change the camera and microphone around and then we'll be back, a little Warzone action.
What do you mean?
Ready to jade up?
Yup. Doing a little double team.
What?
Doing a little duos.
No zombies.
It is a little wild. Going for a win here.
Waiting on a couple of this weekend.
Those are absurdly addicting to eat.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Get yourself sorted. We'll be deploying shortly. Watch the skies. Enemy soldier incoming. Enough practice. Time for the real thing. Moving up.
Tried and true.
Battle Royale. Gas is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone.
Might as well get as many winners as we can.
Alright lads, let's get it done. Enemy soldier
sniped?
incoming.
Oh no, I mistimed the jump.
I might be able to climb up. Oh, another one?
Straight all the way down. No way.
Can be close. Oh, it's going even faster now.
Sit, man, we gotta fight.
That was crazy.
There was some people up there, they just let me go by. I did down a guy and keep going at some point. Dun, 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 dun.
Glad you have a little bit of armor, actually. Really.
Enemy soldier incoming. Objective updated. Secure that position.
Do you need armor? Yeah.
Found some body armor.
Go to this recon. Oh, there's people on the roof of this. Go to go up to the top. It was a little choppy, this one.
Gas is closing in.
Here.
I got movement.
Almost jumped off the side. Oh shit.
Got you covered. Go.
Got a lot of cheddar too. Here.
We're in the circle. You set you all, they coming.
Gonna load out. Perhaps some armor as well. If we find more, let's go to the recon thing, I guess.
There, I'm going.
Hopefully there's a buy station. People over there.
I got movement.
Grabbing it, my fire station now.
Let's get this thing first. More attention over here.
Recon intel secured. Solid work.
Found some body armor.
Where are you? Got the spider. Have enough.
What?
Have enough people in there. Armor.
I'm getting hit.
From where?
There's a guy in the roof across that's so annoying. Angle. Watch this.
This way. If we come back after.
Your teammate has entered the gulag. Surviving earns redeployment.
Out of there for a while. I'll try to win in the
Where I am.
They shooting at it.
I think they got alive.
Enemy UAV overhead. Your teammate got a proper sorting. We're sending them home. Get it done. Enemy
See
UAV
that?
overhead.
It was like a ghost face attacked my screen when I opened that
Is
box.
it a spooky?
It was a
Spooky situation?
We're not even playing the Halloween mode.
Maybe check that building. It doesn't look weird. Yes.
Supply box located. Move to secure. Next zone located.
I have enough. I'll go back to that loadout station that we died at.
Friendly loadout drop on the way. Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
Did I lose that when I picked that other thing up? Shit. I picked up a munitions box. I might have dropped a loadout marker.
You even drop those?
I didn't think you could, but I guess so.
I don't think they
Remember
drop.
Got one right in here. Or no, it was right over here.
Yeah.
I guess it just disappeared
Yeah, I
when I
don't
picked
think
up.
they dropped.
Oh, no,
Where'd you
deployable
put it?
cover. I might have picked that up in here in the back. I think I know where it is. Oh, no, okay. There's one more spot I can check. What are shit?
Next objective located.
God, I found it. Just gotta whip it looking far out of us here. Are you coming this way?
Got a loadout drop inbound.
Get that crew.
You've got gas moving in.
What's through?
Contract complete. All supply boxes located.
Is that munitions box still in? No!
You need armor. There's some extra there. Somebody's gas can. You have enough ammo and shit.
Yeah. I can give you a little AR.
I can give you some in a minute. Stack of 60. Scared the shit out of me.
Me?
No windows? Still a lot of people left in this game.
Really could be a fucking long time in this car. You never really know where else to go when it's this situation in the circle.
Might as well get a somewhat favorable spot.
I'll drive. I'll go for it. There, go. There, I'm going.
I got movement.
Another.
Gas is moving.
Who are you? Oh, people down here.
I see one.
Just missed him.
Did you get in a car?
Hit him once. Oh shit. I jumped off. Teams, 58 people.
I see one.
Same spot as before.
Yeah. He's behind that rig.
Just working.
His friend has to be close by now.
There's an MVP coming up on our north side. He's close.
Oh, on the rig.
One there.
Okay.
I wonder where that guy's friend was.
Can't see him. Oh, he's in the car.
Destroying folks'
People.
dreams and hopes.
Same spot as before.
I got movement.
That was his friend.
Someone on this building.
I got movement.
Saw a flash for a second.
Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
The guy's deep over here, right there, in that building.
Target there.
I keep seeing that flash too. It's a fucking like weird angle that we have on the sign. But there is a guy in that building that I just paid.
Yep, I saw his.
It might be this guy's friend that we just saw right here. I don't know.
Moving up. Canceled that.
We're gonna have to move pretty soon.
Yeah. It's time.
Gas is inbound.
Safe zone. Let's go.
Guy over here.
There, I'm going.
I lost him.
close to the circle. What's the game plan? We want to get up on this mountain? Or not yet?
Yeah, we can. There's a guy right over where you are right now that I just pinged. I don't know where he went. It looked like he was running across the river, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, way over here.
Target there.
Underneath the bridge. Get lower.
Oh,
Goddamn snap is deep.
got him one. On his way off. He's right here.
Contact!
Look again.
How is this guy not fucking dead?
Careful, we don't get sideswiped.
How much?
He looks like he's going straight.
Final deployment is making ready. Your window's closing fast. Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
Ping him if you see him.
Moving up.
Like right on the goddamn border.
We've got a loadout drop inbound.
There's him. Poking his head in and out of that. Oh, someone's flying down.
25 are left. Stay sharp out there.
So I meant to that team in there.
Gas is moving.
You can't have much armor.
I don't want to get in.
I'd say that's the cut them off as well.
Get to the safe zone now.
Copy him. You got it. There's one of them.
Contact!
Finished him off, but I think there's people up here, maybe.
I got
Getting
movement.
shot from this way.
Yeah.
Going this way.
Guy crouched down right
There. I'm going.
We've got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated.
Oh, there's another up here. He just jumped out.
I'm shot!
Tango down! That got him.
It's all on you now.
There's no buy station.
There's less than 10 to go. You can win this. 25 remaining. We lost that one, but we'll come back stronger next time.
Alright. This is a good place to call it.
Yep. Not a bad game. Not a bad showing.
Alright.
Adios. Adios, muchachos.